demonstrator here in Canada. I just lost my my usual spiel. If this is your first time watching, welcome. If this isn't, welcome anyways. If you're watching the replay, let me know. If you're watching the replay, if you are, oh, and I didn't turn down the volume. All right. If you are watching now, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know where you're watching from. I try to keep track of the comments while I'm crafting, so feel free to ask questions or comment or whatever. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, please subscribe. Let's keep growing my channel, please. I would love to grow and have more people join in the crafting happiness. So today I'm going to be playing with the Cute as a Bug suite, and it is exactly what it says. It is the cutest suite I have seen possibly ever. The dies, if you love standalone dies that kind of, you can create things. I had shown a card, I'll show it again when I flip you around, that you can make scenes, or you don't even need the stamps, but then the stamps are super cute, so you want those as well. And it coordinates with the paper, and the paper can be cut out by a lot of the dies, and it's one of those, it's different. I like that it's different. It's not your typical flowers, the usual stuff. Hello, Linda. But it's just a fun, and you can use it for kids, you can use it for adults. I'm trying to get a form ready. I'm horrible at marketing. I do have a class in February around this Cute as a Bug. It's going to be a mini album and some cards with it, and it's all packaged in this little picnic basket. I did a retreat this last weekend, or Saturday, with a bunch of demonstrators who presented on a bunch of different suites, and one of now I can't remember who presented the Cute as a Bug, but she made this cute picnic basket, and so I'm going to be using that in my class. I would have to look up who did that, but I will give her credit because I'm not creating it myself. The rest of the class I am, but the picnic basket is just the cutest ever addition. I was going to do some kind of gifting box anyways, so yeah, it's perfect. And there's actually I think there's a picnic basket sample in the catalog even around this suite. So anyways, that's the suite I'm playing with today. I'm making 3 cards as usual, back to making cards. They are different cards today. There's kind of a twist, so you will see. Before I get to making the cards though, I think there's 3 things happening. There's product of the month, which is a monthly thing now. So when you spend $100, for $5 you can get the product of the month, and the product of the month this month is a really cute stamp set. This is probably backwards for you when I flip around maybe. And it's supposed to be coming soon. Hi, Yolande. There is a virtual card retreat, which I have not been very good at advertising. It is Stampin' Up! This putting it on. It's a huge kit that you purchase, and then you, I think you get, it gives you access. Like I don't know if you have to join or if they send you a email, because I did not do this one. I'm still on the fence. I'm getting a little late. It's happening next weekend, I guess, January 22nd to 23rd. So you get the class for free with the purchase of this kit. The kit is $225. So I think it was cheaper than the album one that they did, which was massive. And it was really good. But at first, I didn't love the samples that they put out, and I didn't really look at the kit that closely. So I was like, but then I've been seeing all these samples, and I've actually gone in and looked at the actual kit, which you can see if you go onto the store, and I don't remember what it's under now. I don't know if there's a section for the virtual card making event, or if it's just under kits maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out. but you can see kind of what the products are. So that's still available for purchase. And then there's bonus days for the month of January. So for every $60 you spend, you can earn a $6 coupon. Now you're still earning rewards like you normally do on your account. These bonus $6 are in coupons. So they will send you emails with the coupon code. So if you spend $128, you would get two $6 coupon codes, and they are to be spent in February. So there's a date that you have to spend them by. It's between February 3rd and the 28th that you need to use them. Whereas your other rewards are good for a year, 2 years, I can't remember. So anyways, you're basically doubling up on your rewards if you think of it that way. So like on a $225 card kit class, you would get the bonus and the rewards on that. So it's a good time to do it if that interests you. All right, let's get turned around and we will get crafting here without trying not stick. Try and not stick my hand in, but I did anyways. Try and not turn it off while we get. I don't know why there's this. What is it it's catching? I don't understand. Oh, it's this. That is so weird. There we go. Now it's gone. I noticed it in my other videos. It's like, what is this? All right. Now that I've got all my hands out of the way, hopefully, yeah. So this is the cute, my thing's already falling apart. I use it so much. So this is the Cute as a Bug suite. They're sweets now. They've got like 4 more, I can't remember how many, 4 pages for the suite. So it's, you know, like with the cookie, like this kind of packaging stuff, but this just shows how kind of versatile this suite is. But when I saw this paper and the suite, to me it just like screamed mini album and either a baby album or toddler or like kid kind of. But it could, I mean, it could be for like if you do it kind of mushroom themed, it could even be for teenagers. Sky's the limits, and these ladybugs are the cutest. Now I did notice, and I forgot to check this morning, as of yesterday, the stamp set is back ordered till January 26th, so not too long. And I think these as well are back ordered. It's a popular suite, which was kind of my fear. So I'm hoping by February things will be back and I can order it for my class. But let me know if you're interested in a class, and then I can kind of prepare accordingly. What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. A bunch of their stamp sets were back ordered and they weren't just the new ones. So I'm not sure if there's issues with the stamps or what's, because they produce those in-house I think they still produce them in-house. Anyways, they will be back soon enough. All right, let me, I've already shown the whole suite. Last week I did a whole show and tell of everything, so I don't need to do that again. I did want to show and tell some of the cards that we did make on the weekend. Why can't Emma Goddard, UK demonstrator. I think it was Emma that did these. I should have written it down. Did I write it down? No, I did not. Of course not. So anyways, this was one of her designs that we made. So this is all stamping and coloring and just piecing it together. So super cute, just using the stamps. And then this is just using the designer series paper and cardstock and a little bit of ink blending. There's no, well, other than the sentiment, there's no stamping. It's all just designer series paper. Isn't it super cute? Like, oh. And then, well, I had showed this one, maybe it wasn't last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Anyways, this is the one I created as a sample for this. So this is where the dies and then just a bit of designer series paper really kind of pop. So today our cards are much different than those. I'm gonna start, so ideally, my cards would have been all on clear acetate. However, I realized I didn't have enough because I don't always buy window sheets, because I always had the backings when we had the older packaging. I always kept the window sheet off of the stamps because I'd stick it onto the back of the case. So I always had tons of window sheets. I didn't. Now I need to buy window sheets in order to do this. The idea came from Jennifer McGuire, who's like super card maker extraordinaire. She does not do Stampin' Up! Stuff, but she was making some of these window sheet cards, and I just thought, oh, this looks really cool. I think it would go well with this suite. Sorry, must have a sip. So anyways, one of my cards is with clear acetate. I did find, this is an old retired acetate. It had like it was a kind of birthday themed. It had the polka dots. It had some confetti kind of stuff. But I thought this looked cute either way. So it'll do. I think it would be better clear, just because this kind of takes away from the card itself. Clear just kind of lends itself to having the bugs as the star of the show. So you have to, like, this is where you can go heavy-handed on the acetate. You do not, if you're really light, it's not going to do anything. And then it just helps be able to fold it without, of course, it seems off, but so you can see it's hard to bend. But once you get your bone folder, and with this one, you can use it on the gold side or the silver side, but with using it as a card, you get the gold and the silver together, which is kind of fun. Okay, so then we've got this is our card. Very different from the usual cardstock. So now with this one, what I did was I cut out 4 of, what are these called? The branching out dies. They were from the mini catalog from the Christmas stuff, the winter stuff. However, I can't remember if these have gone into the online exclusives or if they're in the last chance, but they are still available. I did check that. So I cut 4 of these, and the reason I cut 4 of these is because there's going to be one. You do not have to put this one on the back here, but I feel like you do need one obviously on the inside for your message. And then it's nice to put one at the back, and then you could put like your signature or your name or whatever, and then it covers the glue up. So that was kind of my purpose of putting it on all 4, because then it covers up any of the glue from showing. So I'm going to start by just kind of just centering it, eyeballing it, centering it. And then you can just go from there to get it. So now, in order to get it on that back side, I'm going to line it up here. And then since it's already got adhesive on it, now because it's the window sheet, you can pick it up and it won't. You're more likely to tear your paper than you are to tear your cardstock. Now, if you are worried about lining it up, especially on these second ones, instead of using Stampin' Seal, this is where you can use your glue. The only problem is using glue on window sheets means it takes longer to dry, but it also means that you have much more wiggle room to get it to the right spot. And then we'll do the same for this one. You know that your kid is playing their music loud when I can hear it booming from inside the house. All right, so that's gonna glue while we get our pieces and parts ready. So this is one that is kind of heavy on the die cutting side of things. I've pre-colored some things so you don't have to watch me color too much stuff. And I also, I cut multiple pieces. So on my stems, I cut 2 and then I glued them together so they have a little bit more dimension to them. And this is just, instead of using dimensionals, especially because of the clear card, you wouldn't want ugly dimensionals showing, and I'm going off of my white paper. So that's kind of the reason I did multiple die cuts. So this one I die cut out of one of the designer series paper, and I've got 2 already glued here, and I'm gonna put this guy on top so it's like, it's kind of still like 2 layers because designer series paper isn't very thick. And that's another good reason for adding some basic white cardstock or any kind of cardstock behind, because then it gives it some rigidity. I put 2 layers on my pre-stamped spread Joy, so I just used Versamark and some white embossing powder. And then I'm not sure what kind of, I need to get my new daffodil delight. It still works. I had to cut the tip though, because it was all frayed and it was making it hard to stay in the lines. So if you ever have that problem and you've got some tips that are just kind of frayed and making a mess, you can always cut it and continue to use it. Unfortunately, the Stampin' Up! Blends do not have tips that you can purchase. I hope that they will come out with some tips in the future. For now, they do not. So for my stem, like this one, I used the crumb cake. So this is the light crumb cake. And you don't have to color the whole mushroom, because if you look at the dies, so here's the mushrooms, and then there's these 2 things that look like leaves. They're actually the mushroom tops. And I'll come in with the dark. And then to kind of, if you're fast and your paper is still wet, it kind of blends automatically, but if you need to blend it a little bit more, you can go over it with the light one again. And then we've got our, I don't know if it's a daisy or not, but we'll just give it a red center, which is not daisy-like. And then we need to color our other mushroom cap. So here I've got the dark real red, and I don't know if my blends are dying, because I find the dark real red doesn't seem very dark, but I'm gonna put some light cherry cobbler onto here, kind of help it out. Okay, so I've got my mushrooms, and then I like to put my glue onto the solid part to make it easier. And then if you just match the shape it just kind of fits. And you can see if you want a bit more showing, you can have it lifted up. It's up to you. Same with this one. And then this one, some people have been putting these upside down, and I can't remember what kind of flower they called it. And then you could put like a dark, like an open daisy almost, or you can go this way and have the stem on it, which I kind of like. I don't know, I like it both ways, but to me, this piece is here, so why not use it? So I didn't double up this one. I did double up the stem, so that way it's not as, otherwise it would kind of be bulky and then bulky underneath. And then we've got our stem here. Again, I think this one needs to be covered up. I'm not sure which flower would go on the other way, but either way. And then there's the cutest. I don't know if you can see that. Well, oh, I dropped him. The snail. I added 2 little black eyes to kind of make him black-eyed Susan. Is that what this is when it's upside down, or the? I think I did hear somebody call it that. And they're supposed to be upside down, so I just glued it the wrong way. Is that what you're telling me? That's okay. Okay, and then all I have to do is glue these down. Now, like I said, because you didn't want ugly dimensionals showing, you might not want glue showing either. So you could just glue where the white is, or I find if you use the Stampin' Seal, it shows less. But since there's a fair amount of this guy that's touching the white, I'm just going to put the glue there and have him kind of, and then you don't see any of the glue. And then I'm going to make him like he's holding this one. So I'm just being very light, trying to be very light-handed on the glue. Doesn't always work. Now for this one, I didn't double up, and because it's on the white, I can put, oops, a dimensional in behind here. I think it is a black-eyed Susan. I've heard other people call it that, so we'll go with it. And then we can put this guy maybe here. So I'll do half, this half here, and then the leaves. Oh, hopefully my leaf will be off. Hopefully I did that on the right side. That would not be good. Okay, and then, so this one is going to be quite a bit off. I can't remember if so for this one, I think I will put the seal here and here. It's almost like it needs, it's because I had only put 1 layer of this on my original, and I forgot that then this one is going to be, say, down here. So again, I can just, well, I guess I don't need to use the Stampin' Seal because it's on the white, but it'll stick to whatever it can. Then we've got our little snail here. This is when, well, I always wish I had smaller fingers, but this is when I really wish I had smaller fingers. You could stamp some of the grass or do some grass with some of the green. So for the green, I used Granny Apple Green. This one, I don't think I said I used Daffodil Delight. And then I stamped that. So I think I could put it right across the top here. Or it could go, I think off a little bit. Maybe a little less. Okay, and then we have our first card. Isn't it cool? So like I said, I think it would be better without the dots because obviously it kind of distracts from the beautiful scenery. But yeah. So that is, imagine it without the dots. Then it'd be really pretty. Extra pretty. All right. I guess I had enough. I could have done one in the clear, but our next one, I'm going to save the clearest one for last because I went with vellum for this one because it still has that clear effect. Now I have done card bases in vellum before. This is not a first, but this is the new vellum. So I think in the old vellum that we had a vellum that was cardstock. I feel like the new vellum that's in the 12 by 12 that we have is just as thick. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as thick as like a thick white card base. So part of the trick in thickening up your card base is adding some papers to it. So same as before, we're going to add some stuff to the back and to the front, and it'll kind of stiffen it up. So I'm going to start with, these are 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. This is a standard size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And again, I'm going to put one on the inside and then one on the back. Yeah, 4 1/4 by 11, and then you score it at 5 1/2. Just a standard card size. So then I'm going to do the same back here. So I can put glue and it can be messy because it's not going to show because I'm going to add this piece here. So that's already now totally stiffened up the back side. And then for the front side, I've cut, so there was one of the 12 by 12 papers is like cut aparts. So it has some smaller pieces and then it has some larger pieces. So these are off of there, and then they're just the same on the back. So this is going to be my front. Now, what I want to do though, is I want to cut this one smaller. So then I've got kind of, when I put this on the back side, it shows like a frame. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off of each of the sides here. Might want to only cut 1/8 if you want more room for your die cuts, but I like having that nice framed piece like so. So imagine if it was on clear, it would pop even more. But this also, to me, seems nice. Now, again, since we're not covering this whole thing, don't put your glue to the edges. Make sure you keep it on the inside, or you can use some Stampin' Seal just in the middle part so that it doesn't, and then you can line it up on the white so that it makes a nice frame, and then just close that so you can kind of see that seal, but now it's going to get covered with this piece. So again, you could use glue, you can use seal, whatever your preference is. And line it up. Okay, so I've got that, and then I've got some pieces that I cut from the Designer Series paper, and I've got my cute, isn't he just adorable? And I should have, I think I ended up using, I'll use dimensionals, but you could do the same thing here where you could just use the dies and cut out some basic white and pop them up. But since it's on the solid part, you don't have to worry about the dimensionals showing. So, you know, he's just having a nice sit and reading his. Now, oh, if I'd been thinking, I should have cut this, or like I should have cut it and put it in behind. But what you can do, if I can find a pencil here, is you can kind of cut the shape of the mushroom and cut this. And then it looks like it's just kind of in behind. So I'm not going to pop this up because I want it to look like it's sitting behind that mushroom, not in front of it. Like so. And then I've got some extra mushrooms. And then I've got, now I don't know where did my sentiment go? Oh, here it is. So I also pre-did so this is just black embossing powder. And put it down here. What if we put her like that, or I think maybe here. Oh, so see, I could have covered up the, and now I doubled this up so I don't need to add dimensionals. It's already got a little bit of dimension here. Okay, I don't know, should I add these? Maybe I'll add them just flat. I don't need to pop them up. What do you think here? No, that hides. Here, oops, wipe that glue. Okay, so then, you know, this is not as solid as the back part, but it'll still stand. And this is the other one. So there was a different cut apart kind of background that I used. And so this one, I think because everything was a bit colored here, didn't have as much white. I don't know. I felt like it needed, I blended it with a brush with some soft sea foam. Ugh. I can't talk. And this one, I don't know, I don't mind it white on this one. Maybe because it's darker green, but so those are that. So you could also do this on acetate as well, and I think it would really pop, especially with the ferns in the background there. I think it would look really cute also, but isn't that so super cute? Is it just me, or like, I don't know, I just love this. I could play with this sweet forever and ever. Okay, last one. And this window sheet is super old, so I don't know if they're still this same thickness. It is super thick. Like, it's like glass. Like, it would make a really good window sheet. But see, so here you can see the glue. So what I would do, except for I didn't do this in the right timing, and so I'll have to redo it because it didn't cut out centered. Or maybe it did. I would again put an extra piece on the back here to hide that glue if it bothers you. If it doesn't bother you, then this one I added, and that's where you could stamp your name. But I mean, I should have used Stamp and Seal instead of glue, because I don't know if you can see that, but it doesn't look the nicest. So anyways, that's up to you. So here I've got some more of the designer series paper. Did I just give away my card? I feel like I just showed you the whole finished card, but that's okay. So this is another designer series paper from the suite. And then I've got these dies that are from the, what are they called? Beautifully celebrated dies. So these are in the mini as well. So these ones I think is the second smallest one. I've cut out some vellum. Then I've cut out some extra of this piece to put on the back and on the front backing as well. So we've got those. And then I wanted to show you how I did this front part, because I want to do it together. So I've cut this at 4 by 5 1/4, and this one is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So it's just got a tiny bit of a white frame around it. Now I'm going to put these together. And I'm going to line up my dies here. I'm going to cut both pieces at the same time, which is totally doable. Our dies can cut through even a couple pieces of cardstock. I don't think they recommend it, but with the designer series paper, which is thin, you can totally cut through both layers, no problem. So I've got that taped. If you really want to be safe, now you can see I just moved the paper. I will reline it up. I'm just going to grab the big boss here. And we will line this up again so that it's and then we just put that down and run it through. Okay. So I only ran it through once. It's all cut. It's not, you know, if it was a detailed die, you might want to run it through twice. Spoiler alert, yeah. And there was no warning either. Okay. Hopefully you just didn't pay too much attention and missed it. So then I'm going to glue these two down because this is going to be on the inside of my card. And I guess I should have gotten my window sheet ready. I'll do that in a second here. I'm just noticing I've got this, uh-oh, I think it's weird if, it seems like there's, if you put it one way, it's totally off, see? And then if you turn it the other way, then it's how it, what, like, I don't, it feels like it's centered, but obviously it's not, because when I go to put it down, it's not. But if I get it the right way, then it's nice and evenly centered. So obviously, okay, why does this look upside down to me? Oh my, oh, it's because I kept seeing this strawberry and I'm like, and then I didn't notice that. So these are upside down and then these come this way. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. Okay, so this is the window sheet. And I don't know if they still come this way, because like I said, this is from, I don't know how many years ago. And they have protection, which I'm going to scratch trying to get it off, on both sides. So it has this blue layer on both sides. Now, I just remembered, when I did my scoring, I left the blue layer on, just to help prevent scratching. So again, I'm folding it at 5.5. And with this one, you could go for days trying to score it because it is very thick. Once I finally get a bit of a line going through, that's when I know I'm good. This is where nails come in handy. Okay, so that's one side. I guess if you're running this through like with a die or something, I could see having the protective, but then it would be hard to cut. I'm not exactly sure other than, so now I think this is kind of opposite cardstock in that you want to fold into the score instead of away from the score like you do with cardstock. It just seems to fold better that way. That's just my experience. So here I'm not putting this on the outside. I am putting this on the inside. And this time, instead of using glue, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. Can you guys hear Aspen snoring in the background? She's so funny. She's already had a very big day. She went, Andrew's girlfriend takes her on Wednesdays to the dog park, and she had both her dog and, I can't remember how old the other one is. She's a puppy. Her name's Darla. And apparently, I've never seen it, but Aspen is not a big player with dogs, but she apparently loves to play with this Darla. So now she's snoring away because she's pooped. So now for the inside of this, I'm going to put white on the inside, and then so this is the one, so I took out, this frame is still here, right? So I'm just putting this here, and then you've got like a clear frame to it. So again, I'm going to use Stampin' Seal. However, I could use glue here because I am going to put the piece on the back. So you can still see the seal. So to me, I would think you would still want to put an additional, an extra piece on the outside as well. Now, if I was smart, before I glued this down, I should have done another piece of white and laid it on with this here like a template, so it would be exact. But I'll figure it out. Okay, so for the front now, we've got our pieces here. And I guess I could have glued these pieces down before we started, but I did not. So I will do that now. Just again, because the designer series paper is just, actually, maybe I'll put this straight down. I can't remember what I did. Oh yes, I want the white because you're going to see through. And so I don't want the design, I want it white on the back side. Same for this. This one I'm using this piece. To make my designer series paper more solid, because I'm going to bump up this section. Now, here's the perfect reason why you put it on the inside. So don't look at my finished. I put dimensionals, but I didn't end up covering the pieces, right? So you're going to want, the white is okay. It just has that glue around it. But I feel like you need to cover up the dimensionals. So you could really stack it and bump it up, or you could use the dimensionals but then put something on the background. Now for this one, I am going to stick it directly to the acetate. Now, the way to make it look better, I guess, is to use my Stampin' Seal, because then it just has a solid, clear glue on it. Mostly. Okay. But it's harder to lay in place. Now, this is the wrong way. So you just kind of want to line it up so it matches with the designer series paper in the background. Right? Isn't that cool? Now you could go one smaller on this and have a white. I wonder if that would, I don't know. What do you think? Should I go smaller and have a bit of a break? Or no, I think we'll just pop this up. I wonder if that's not enough. Okay, we'll use dimensionals. If I can find them. Oops. And then we'll cover it up. And go a little overboard here. Just because I don't want it to flatten out and look like it's even with the other one. This is why I'm always running out of dimensionals, possibly. Okay, so now I don't know if you can see it. It is popped up. It's hard to see in the video, but there is space there and you can see it in person. And then we've got, where did they go? We've got our vellum. Now I could just put one piece of vellum, but I find it's very distracting. So I decided to add 2 pieces of vellum just to make the opaqueness a little less. And I'm going to put it in the center because that's where my sentiment will be to hide the glue. So you can see it's not pretty right now, but then once we put it down with the sentiment, you will never know. Okay, and then see, once we get that sentiment there, you can no longer see the glue. Okay, and then I have a little cutie patootie bee that was in the designer series paper. Now I popped him up, but he kind of looks cute in behind. I don't know. Behind or in front? So I think I want him behind. I don't know why. This one's going to go behind, and I'll show you the one I made before that's in front. Okay, and then the cutie patootie part is to add some little ladybugs onto here, floating on the acetate. Again, helps if you have nails. You know, just kind of, so he looks like he's sitting on the leaf, but then he's floating in the air. Maybe one here. And maybe one up here. There. And then we have our cutie patootie card. Now, you can see that this frame part is okay, but I probably want to put this here to hide those dimensionals. Because, you know, who wants to see those? I suppose you could cut out a foam sheet with the shape and pop it up that way, and then you wouldn't have to cover it. But these ladybugs are cute, just kind of floating there. And then I still need to cut out another piece to cover the back. But that's totally up to you, whether that bothers you or not. And you can see, like, this window sheet is like super, super thick. Like, I don't think it'll ever lay flat. I mean, obviously it would be in an envelope, but I mean, it stands nicely. So this one I went this way because that's just the size of piece that I had. Either way, there. So this is the bee standing up. This is the bee underneath. So yeah, those are my clear cards that aren't all totally clear for today. Hopefully, oh, where'd my other two go? I lost them. They're too clear. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So those are my cute as a bug cards, and I will be working on the class for this in the next little bit. It'll be in February. I do have a class that I really need to get out ASAP. I was hoping to do it at the end of January. It might have to get pushed into the beginning of February. It's the Cake Day bundle. It'll be a birthday card crank class. So if you're interested in doing some birthday cards, let me know. I can send you the information. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hopefully you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.